What's going on, guys? Rockley AC here, giving you guys a tournament report from the Chicago Celebrations event hosted by the ARG team. If you guys weren't here, it was probably one of the best events I've ever been to. One of the smoothest, one of the largest, and just probably the most fun I've ever had in a Dragon Ball Super event. Granted that it was in our local area, Chicago was really like a 40-45 minute drive for us. It was just nice to see a lot of the local players coming out because we do have a very strong and big community, and it was nice seeing a lot of teams and familiar faces there. On top of that, people who traveled, a lot of other big names out there, Anthony Hernandez, KTM, Chanron's Lair, everybody who came down to visit here. I mean, it was just people from the local community and also abroad. It was just a really fun time, and it was really good to like meet you all and also play games with you and kind of participate in this game that we all love. So the Chicago Celebrations event was something that our team went to. Team Boo Cake, aka Team Bukaki. I don't know how that name got through, but now it's official. You guys know. If you guys haven't seen, we were on the day one of teams streaming battles. We were facing against one of the other local Chicago groups, Team 3-Star, and it was just very fun. Those guys there, I've known them since the Panini days. Chris and Paul, also great players from the Chicago community. It was really fun just having like a nice round one stream. This event was just crazy. I mean, Friday, me and my team went up there just to pre-register. It was already a long line. I met like a lot of cool people. I met Dusty over there. We chatted for a bit. Did a little bit of play testing, but mostly just to scope the area. And then, we pretty much woke up. We had probably a couple hours of sleep, just kind of play testing and everything. And the deck that I did want to bring was a Kid Goku variant. But leading up to the event, my teammate Justin, he was going to take red, Baby Vegeta, so I was originally going to take black red, which you'll see in the profile after this, where I went X2, but for teams I actually decided to take a tackle on black green. I know everybody's been doing the red, blue, yellow variant, but I don't think I've seen too many people do the green version, and I think I might have been the only one during that day who was playing it, and I know it caught a lot of people off guard. And hopefully through this deck profile, it inspires other people to build upon it, because Kid Goku could definitely be built in different styles and everything, but I really want people to venture off into the green battle cards and kind of like combos, because it's definitely underrepresented, and I know a lot of people could probably take this build and probably make it better. But yeah, I wanted to kind of make this build to kind of counter like Brawlies and Baby Vegetas, those main big bomb threats that have been seeing a lot of play in our locals. So I just wanted to counter that, and one of the main ways I thought about was using the Gohan, Krillin, Goku Clash of Fates combo, which you'll see it has a lot of cool interactions, and it can definitely catch people off guard. And I'm sure other people could have piloted it better than me, but it was a nice experience with the deck. Probably my second time only playing it throughout building this version, and I had a lot of fun with it. So real quick, let's just go through the day's events and everything. Pretty much we played 6 rounds, technically 5. The first round we were teamed up with Team 3-Star, so again, local players. We were able to get on stream. Dusty hooked me up, asked me if I wanted to be in stream. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. My buddy Justin was actually the one who was being recorded, so you guys saw the baby matchup versus Broly Yellow, which he ended up going 2-0. I played against Thayer, sat across him in table B, or seat B. He was running the Gogeta Blue-Red Ramp deck, which I was familiar with because it was actually one of the first decks that I play tested, and I wanted to actually make that deck to ramp up to like 15 energy to win, but it was just not realistic. But definitely I knew that deck was going to be popular, so I had some good sideboard for it. So I just played around with a lot of his pieces, and then second game I was able to side in the no what's it called, the No Escape Son Goku to ruin his cards to not be able to bounce back to his hands and stuff. So that really hit him. And then we were able to all 2-0 our opponent. So that felt nice. Round 2, we went against Team Lava Cake, which is hilarious because Team Boo Cake and Team Lava Cake. I sat across Frisco Foz. A lot of you guys might know him formerly from the Panini Dragon Ball game. And it was hilarious because last time we met, he actually kicked me out of top 16 in round 8 of the Chicago Regionals, or the Indianapolis Regionals, one of those, when he was playing his Cell deck. So that was the last time we met, and then I was able to 2-0 him in this game, which was nice. Got a little revenge from that, but that was the only time me and him ever played since. He was running the Gogeta Red version, which I didn't have a lot of experience with. So just him being able to drop like the 6-drop bomb was insane because it was able to get rid of all my combo pieces. But I was able to 2-0 him, and also just by like sheer luck. I think the first game I drew into 2 negates and negated his big bombs, and then went in from there. And then the second game, I think I hit a Demigra SCR just to get out of his negates, and I had the no escape Son Goku. So that was rough for him, and our team was able to go through there. Then after that, we had a little bit of trouble, securing some wins. Some of us went to ties, and then the tiebreakers went down to me. And since I was seat B, and a lot of that, I had rough matchups. So the third round, we went against Big Nix. I think they got top 16. I went against Green Broly. He was playing it really well. I wasn't able to get any steam out of him, so he beat me. Round 4, we went against DBS Goons, against Janemba Mill. I knew Mill was going to be a tough matchup because of all the card draw, even though you could kind of control that in this Kid Goku deck. It was still a lot of milling, so I wasn't able to beat him. And then round 5, we went against Team Wolfpack. I think they also got top 16, and then I wasn't able to beat them personally. So my personal record was 2-3. We knew that there was going to be another Gunslinger / pod event at 5 o'clock. And at that time, round 6 was going to start, so we just knew that we weren't going to make it or anything like that with a 3-3 record if we were to make our next one. So we just dropped round 6, and we went to the pod event and everything, which we did a lot better in those, or me and my teammate. But essentially, this deck was pretty fun. It had its counters and definitely could be improved upon. But let me show you guys what I got built in here, and then hopefully you guys could take it to another level and spread that around through the super page and whatnot. So Kid Goku, everybody knows him by now. He's probably one of the most played decks in the format. Gets card advantage by showing the Dragon Ball, and he gets plus another 5k for vanilla combos for the first time once per turn. Let's go ahead with the deck profile. I ended up running 5 4-star balls. I didn't want to whiff. I think 4 is actually pretty good. 5 is perfect. No more than that. I saw it enough, and it definitely helped during games that I needed card advantage. Next, I ran 4 power bursts. This definitely helped me. Again, like I mentioned, against like Frisco, against drawing like the 2 power bursts, or just being tapped out, being able to put myself down into awakening mode was just very helpful. Next, I ran 2 Frieza Army Healing Pod. This is probably one of the spicy parts of the deck. When you play a green battle card from your drop area, you get to draw a card. So when you activate Son Goku Adventure Begins, play a vanilla card from your drop, you get to draw a card out of it as well. So it's super plus. And at the same time, if one of your cards get milled, you can pay 2 green and 2 colorless to play a battle card with energy cost of 4 or less from my drop area and play it. So very powerful, really strong, and it's a nice backup in case like things get milled out and whatnot. Super combo, I like this 3-1 split because not all the time will you be having your life at 4, so sparking is better to activate at that time. But also, depending on the situation, Master Roshi is also good too if you don't have the sparking, just from overwhelming and stuff. Next, I ran 3 furthering destruction champas. This deck really needed a lot of aggression and aggro, especially in the beginning against certain matchups like Shenron or Janemba. So you need to be able to hit them with double strikes, let them take that damage early, and apply that pressure. Next, Son Goku, Adventure Begins. That's the heart of the deck. You want to try to open with it, unless you're going against like a Baby Vegeta matchup or something that kills board. Son Goku is like your main play that you want to get your Dragon Balls, search for your vanillas, get all that stuff. Bonds of Friendship Android 8, search top 7 for vanilla, very powerful, really helpful in this deck. These two cards combo to kill cards, so that's very powerful. Use it when you need it. Then onto the engine here, Fledgling Duo Son Gohan. You really only just need one of this, but you want to open this up as your turn 2 play. Fledgling Duo Son Gohan, it's a barrier. Reduce the cost of Krillin cards in your hand by 1, so you'll be dropping your 4 cost Krillins by turn 3, hopefully, and kind of start the combo. Next, you run 4 Persistent Assault Krillins and 1 Fledgling Duo Krillin. I like this because this serves as like a deadly defender, so as barrier. When you play this card, you draw a card, and if your leader card's green and this card's in rest mode, your opponent can attack the leader card, so it really forces your opponent to kind of get him out of the way. And then once he's KO'd, you get to trigger the big boss over here, Final Showdown Son Goku. So what this guy says is that when a Krillin, here we'll zoom it up for a little bit better view. When a Krillin card with an energy cost of 4 or more in your battle area is KO'd by your opponent, if your leader card is green or black, which is Goku, play this card from your hand, and you can't play another one of these for the duration of the turn. And then auto, when you play this card from your hand, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and ignoring barrier and KO it. So this is like the spice that I kind of ran here. It was a good counter to like somewhat brawly decks or Baby Vegeta decks, decks that have like big bomb threats. They kill your Krillin, then it goes in a pending right here for his auto, and then it's able to KO like even like barrier cards if you need to. So very, very strong. It's happened many times where I just killed like this certain chains and just throws people off. Against the only Broly matchup that I did go against though, it worked once, and then obviously he had like a 8-drop after that. But you have to bait out certain cards against Broly depending on your board state and what you got. So I had to put it somewhat of pressure, and this is the only card in my hand that could answer those big threats. But this card, I think a lot of people could take advantage of, and just depending on the right matchup, it could really prevent your opponent from attacking so aggressively. I ran only 1 Fledgling Duo Krillin because it doesn't have barrier, and sometimes that KO effect auto doesn't really happen right away, or it's really effective, especially against decks that don't really have a board, or just like have like a measly like Borgos or one drop that's really insignificant. But it's there as like a nice blocker KO, and then go into this guy. All right, onto the vanilla cards. I run 4 Super Saiyan Son Gohan. Or Son Goku. This is the 20k vanilla for green. Then you go with General Rildo, 30k vanilla for green. And then I ran 1 Beats just for that extra vanilla. And one of the boss cards got to finish is Demigra. Again, this helped against one of the matches. Just being able to drop and combo, from the hand is just super powerful, and it could definitely win some games. All right, onto the sideboard here. I ran 3 TNs. 3 TNs were for the mill matchup. Sometimes also against the red, depending if you want to go like really aggressive with it. But it's mostly there to help against the mill matchup. No Escape Son Goku, very helpful against both my first 2 rounds against Gogeta. For those who don't know, I haven't seen this card yet really being played. Let me show you. Sorry. Counterplay, so it can't be cold-blood lusted. When you play this card, draw a card, and players can use non-keyword skills to return battle cards in the battle area to their owner's hand during their turns for the duration of the game. So things like the 1-cost Goku and Vegeta BR cards, that's come back to the end of the turn. At the end of the turn goes back to the hand, can't do that. Things like, I think Awakening Talent Pan, that goes back to the hand. Little things like that, but it's mostly against the Gogeta BR and BR cards matchup. Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan for Shenron decks, and obviously the newer Shenron Storm decks, stuff with Child's Wish and everything. So it does help a lot, even though they main board Crisis Crusher, but you need some outs, and it helps you self-awaken. It's really there. I didn't really use it throughout the day. Crisis Crusher Against those annoying 1-drops also. Didn't really use this, but those, you know, you'd come into handy if you really need more board clear. 2 Mercenary Taos. This didn't help me in the team matchups, but you know, you needed to guard your hand. It helped me more in the singles matchup because I went against the Lord Slug deck during the weekend. 2 Time Control Cronoas. The other 2 decks that we were running was Janema Mill and Baby Vegeta. And they figured that I needed more protection for my battle cards, so I had Cronoa. And then I had 1 of each warp cards, Dimensional Banish Fru, which is helpful against big bomb threats, and then same thing with Bardock Fully Unleashed. This card was great against Frisco, and I warped his 6-drop Gogeta, or 8-drop one of those, and it was just a free cost, no need to tap or anything like that, so that was a very, very great card. So yeah, overall, amazing experience. Celebrations event was pretty dope. I actually have a vlog coming up that'll probably showcase some of the things throughout the day. If you're interested in that, please subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be posting that up soon. And then right after this deck profile will be the Kid Goku Black Red version that I piloted the next day at singles when I went 4-2. Had a little bit better day then, and yeah. But let me know what you guys think. I definitely think this deck has a lot of potential, at least in this variant of the Kid Goku kind of deck. Take this, go with it. Let me know what you guys come up with, and I really appreciate all you guys for your support. It was great meeting a lot of you guys at celebrations, and I look forward to making more content for you guys for free, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See ya. Alright guys, so I'm back here with the deck that I ran for the Chicago Celebration singles event. That's Sunday. I ran with Kid Goku, Black Red this time. I wanted to go with something a little bit more aggro, but still be in the same realm of what I played the day prior. It was such a long day, I really wanted to switch up decks to Gogeta Blue-Red ramp with Veku. But I just didn't have enough time. Last night we were out for like 15 hours, and then you go home, and then you're at it again for the next day. So it was really rough. I wanted to put together a deck that I was comfortable with, and something that I ran at our previous locals and did well with, but also not waste so much time worrying about playtesting. When we got to the event on Sunday, we didn't have enough time because they were really strict on deck lists and getting them completed on time, which I totally understand. I just wanted to see if I had enough time. Sorry about that. I just wanted to see if I had enough time to go ahead and, finalize the deck list for that Gogeta deck. But definitely run it next time. Regardless, did well. Went X2 at the event. With Kid Goku, Black Red. There are a couple choices in here that I obviously left out. There are some last minute things that I forgot last night or the night prior to completing this deck, such as like foreseeing hits. But I still managed to pull off some victories. So throughout the day, round 1, I went against Hector. He had the green Broly deck. I made some pretty bad play mistakes. It was the first game, and I just had to get my head in the game. But I ended up going 0-2. Second game against him, he brought up the Broly SCR. He had 1 life, and he dumped me down to 0 cards, so that was rough. Match went to him. Round 2, I went against Omar. He ran a Lord Slug deck, which utilized a lot of the new cards, such as Wings, and some of the Agent of Destruction cards. Really pitching your cards. You could lose 3 to 4 cards like in a turn, like turn 3 or 4, and that was really difficult. Luckily, this deck does recover well and does draw a good amount of cards, so it wasn't the hardest matchup, but it was good. I won 2-1 against him. Round 3 was one of our teammates slash locals, Danny Lopez. That was rough because we were just laughing and we were like, out of all the players, how could it go down to this? He was also running Broly. I ended up beating him 2-1. Round 4, I went against, I think his name is Austin, I believe. He also ran Broly. I ended up 2-1ing him. So 3 Brolys already. Round 5, I went against one of my friends, good buddies from Kansas City, Joseph. He was doing well throughout the event, and we met each other in round 5. He was running Janema Mill. I could have been a little bit more aggressive in some plays, but against Kid Goku you are drawing a lot, and even though you're controlling some of that matchup, Mill could creep up and catch you if you don't have the right pieces to aggro them out. So he won 1-2 in that match. And then final round was against Shane. He was running Kid Goku Blue-Black. That was tough. That was actually my first mirror match through the weekend. I haven't played any other Kid Goku deck, surprisingly, even though they were like everywhere. But I managed to go 2-1. I think he had some errors too as well. His game 1 he drew pretty bad, and he wasn't able to recover. I was able to rush him from like 8 to 3 life and just really aggro him. So yeah, 1x2 throughout the day. I ended up going like 75th out of like 340 players plus, I believe. I dropped because I went to a lot of game 3s, so that really hurt my record. But also I know like 3 people dropped out. 3 of my opponents dropped out of the matches, so that also put me down. But regardless, it was really good. I didn't think I'd do so well building this deck last minute, and let's just give you guys a spice. So again, Kid Goku, you guys will see this everywhere because he could be built in literally any type of combination. So again, skillless, activate this card's awakened at 6 or less life. Activate main, once per turn, choose one 4-star ball from your hand, draw a card, and this card gains plus 5k for the power of the turn. That's really relevant because you swing for 5k extra. And then on the awakened side, you get to draw 2, drop 1. And then once per turn, when you combo with a skillless card, that card gets plus 5 combo. So a lot of your vanillas are essentially 10ks for free. So that was really also the annoying part against playing against Kid Goku's, is that they would dump a vanilla, they'd get a free 10k boost, and they'd have so much power behind that. Alright, so let's go ahead with the cards. So I ran with 5 4-star balls, just like my other deck for the green. I was always used to running 4, but I just wanted to make sure that I didn't whiff, and I think 5 was the perfect number. 4 Power Burst. Power Burst is very helpful, especially against decks that wanted to stall you, but especially allows you to tap out and catch your opponent off guard. It was really helpful against the brawling matchups where you would be tapped out, your opponent would swing through the double strikers, and you would just negate it through Power Burst, and then combo out their leader when they swing. It's very strong, very powerful. And it allows you to get back your black 1-cost cards, so like your Son Gokus or 8 or 8s, to combo out. Super combos. I went with 3 Temporal Trunks and 1 Master Roshi, mostly because most likely you are gonna have Sparking activated. But I do run like I do main board like an overwhelm card, so I mean it happens once in a while. Sometimes your opponent may not attack you aggressively to put you down to 4 as well. So Master Roshi is just the backup in case I don't have such a big drop area. But you could argue for putting 4 Temporal Trunks. This is just like my personal numbers. Next, I ran 4 Furthering Destruction Champas. I run this because it's very aggro. Sometimes you want to open up with your Intensifying Power Trunks and just swing double strike crit. And from there, just really pressure your opponent through like your vanilla 30ks and stuff, and just really put a lot of pieces on board for your opponent to out-combo. So Champa was very helpful. I probably would cut this down to 3 and maybe add another card maybe for seeing hits to cover up the double strike. But this card was very helpful nonetheless. Alright, on to the 1-drops. You got your pretty much heart and souls of the deck. This is your Son Goku, Adventure Begins, and also the Bonds of Friendship Android 8. Son Goku again searches for vanillas and searches for your ball. And then of course everybody knows the 8 combo. When Son Goku leaves the field, when Son Goku leaves the, let's get the exact wording, leaves the battle area, then you get to KO a card, and the ruling on that is that if you combo, it's technically leaving the battle area, and you can KO a card. It was alright. This didn't really prove a lot of, this didn't really do too much of an impact unless you're going against like the mirror match or like decks that like to go wide, because they would kill your Android 8s, like especially against a brawly matchup. You're swinging and they play like Shock and Death Ball, they're going to kill your Android 8 most likely. So you either hold on to these cards for later on, or use it when you need to. Otherwise you know, you really got to use it and not be so aggressive on the play when you're putting in play and just leaving it open for your opponent to KO it. Next are the Trunks package. You got Intensifying Power Trunks. Helps yourself awaken, gets you down to that 6 life where you could awaken early, so you could pull out a pressure through your vanilla cards. But also, again, combined with Double Strike, it's just very strong in this meta, where decks like Brawly like to self-awaken and really put a lot of pressure. Plus, you got to put a lot of pressure against Mill, especially with this kind of deck. You just really got to, you know, attack them early so they don't get any of that advantage. Chain Attack Trunks, one of the reasons why I want to play it. Chain Attack Trunks goes into a couple targets, mostly Fearless Pan and Training Buddy Son Krillin. So these are the most 2 common ones. I was more likely to get Training Buddy Krillin off, more so than Fearless Pan. I didn't have so many moments where I had like so many red cards in play that I was able to abuse with that effect. I think there was one game, I was either the Lord Slug or the Mill matchup where I was able to Chain Attack into Fearless Pan, and then I had 1 or 2 other vanillas, like I think a 20k and a 30k, and that was very strong. It was very, very powerful push, and I think that led me to the game. But other than that, Chain Attack Trunks. When you play this card, choose up to 1 card in your hand with a 15k or less and play it, which plays either Fearless Pan or Krillin. Everybody knows what Pan does, but Krillin, when you play this card, if you lead a card as black, choose up to 1 skillless battle card with an initial cost of 2 or less from my drop and play it. Then choose one of my opponent's battle cards and negate its minus 5k power for the duration turn. This card was very helpful. I didn't have this originally in my previous builds, but I put it up for the weekend, and it's just done so much work, especially against the Mirror, especially against all the 5ks, Borgos, Kid Goku's, Bonds of Friendship Android 8. Like, it's just so powerful, just being able to neg 5k. That's why I don't main board like Planet M2, because Krillin has that built-in effect, and you don't really need it. But yeah, you would put in Yamcha. Yamcha's a 20k, so this would help against like Brawly matchups when you want to go wide. It forces your opponent to drop a card for Brawly to pitch a card to kill like one of your battle cards, and if you're swinging with like your leader and maybe like 3 other cards, Brawly can't stop all that. So it's one of the few ways to be like super aggro against the matchup. Yamcha, and then I went with 6 30k vanillas. You got the Grandpa Gohans, and then you got the Zarbons that you could just search out with your Son Goku, and it's just so strong, very powerful. And there were a lot of times where your opponent just wouldn't be able to out-combo that, because you're swinging 30k, you combo with a Dragon Ball, it becomes a 40k, or you combo with another vanilla. You know, it's just so powerful. I've won a couple games just by going with Double Strike, vanilla into 30ks into, you know, Dragon Balls, and just being like 60, 70k double strikers. And then the last card for the singles event, at least, is One-Dimensional Banisher Fu. This could be the Demigra SCR, you know, even though I did run that one in my black-green version. I just wanted to have a main board option against, you know, big bombs like Broly, Gogeta, just really powerful cards that's really hard to get off the board. And it didn't cost that too much. You know, 5 Overwhelm, I could use it early in the beginning if I want to. And then I could get cards out of my warp through the Power Burst Negate if I happen to have like a Kid Goku or Android 8 that I'm overwhelming with Fu. So yeah, that's the main board. Let's go ahead with the sideboard. I went ahead with 3 TNs. Perfect against Mill. It really helped force my opponent to not really untap stuff like Sensu Beans and Dimension Magic. It was very powerful, and then against other like red decks too. Or other like blue decks like Kid Goku or anything like that, or not get Kid Goku, but just like in general, Janema Mills and Gogeta like Blue Ramp. It's good to put it out there, or other red decks to apply pressure. Zeno was very helpful also against the Broly matchup. Broly tends to you know, like to chain up attacks, and if you're able to interrupt them during their chain, if they have a 6-drop or 8-drop out, it just forces your opponent to either kind of redo the chain or better hope to draw into like Tragic Awakening. And that Zeno definitely helped me win some games against those matchups, and it was really powerful. And in this deck, you're running Chain Attack, so you know what's the next best option? Chain Attack Zeno. It could ruin lives. Next card, No Escape Son Goku. This card was so clutch against like Gogeta. I knew there was going to be a lot of Gogeta decks out there, and I didn't want to lose lose to it because of you know, I couldn't prevent them from early game shenanigans. But basically he's a good deflect, so it can be cold ballisted or crusher balled. When you play this card, draw a card, and players can't use non-keyword skills to return battle cards in their battle areas to their hands during their turn for the duration of the game. So this helps against like Gogeta Ramp. If they're trying to get stuff through like Veku, they can't put those cards back to the hand. If they're hard casting on like 1 or 2, those Son Gokus and Vegetas that cost 1 or less, you know, they can't just put those back to their hand. And then against Gogeta, again during teams against Frisco, this really helped. And then also in teams game 1 against the Gogeta Blue Ramp, it really helped against there. So very powerful card. I didn't want to get caught doing that, but I didn't play against any of those Gogeta Ramp decks in singles. So that didn't help as much, but again, it's just a backup in case it happens. Next are 2, man, this is kind of messy, sorry about that. Main board 2 Mass Saiyans. It's one of my few answers to stuff like Shenron, what's it called, Shenron Storm, that likes to put in like the Bulmos and stuff and Child's Wish things in. So this is really good. Didn't play against any of those. Just like Shenron matchups, and try to help Self-Awaken, put a lot of pressure. That didn't really come in. 2 Time Control Cronoa, of course, against Shigesh. Didn't play against any Broly decks, so dodge that. But of course, you gotta have it, you gotta run it, just in case. Next, I ran 2 Mercenary Taos against Hand Destruction, so I did go against Lord Slug. I did use this against Slug, but of course they would side in Krillin, that KO's barrier cards, so it was just like it did prevent like 1 turn or 2, but it wasn't really like anything too detrimental because your opponent would just play Krillin and just pop it. And then I ran 1 Godstrike Beerus. This is just in case I needed some type of answer for a deck that I couldn't really figure out at that time. I think for the most part my sideboard was pretty well matched and prepared against most decks, but just in case somebody wanted to run again like a Shenron crazy triple strike thing, being able to shut off skills is really powerful. And then the second Dimensional Banish Fu for those big drops, Brawlies, baby Vegeta chains, and Gogeta's, Gogeta's 6-drop, 8-drop, all that stuff. So yeah, that was my deck that I went 4-2 with. You know, I wish I could have won one more game that would have definitely put me in top 32, but you know, it was a tough crowd, and I learned a lot from this event, and I hope everybody gets to explore different kinds of Kid Goku builds aside from just the blue and yellow. And yeah, thank you guys again for all your support. Stay tuned for the vlog that I'll be running through the weekend of Chicago Celebrations. It's going to be really fun. You can see a lot of familiar faces and some interviews from top tier players. And in the meantime, see y'all next time, guys. Peace out.